every trade of gold. But he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
All right, good morning, everybody. Great to see you all here. We're going to get our presentation started in just a moment. Let me encourage you to follow us over on Telegram. Join Tom Busby's Telegram channel, the free channel, dtitrader.com/Telegram. Also, I want to encourage you to follow along over at YouTube. Join Tom Busby's free YouTube by going to dtitrader.com/YouTube. When you get there, you'll see Train and Trade. We're already up and running. Click on the live link. Make sure you like and subscribe. And take a moment to say good morning in the chat room. Looking forward to see everybody there. All right, now let's get into this. We got a risk disclaimer we got to put out there. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. DTI Trader and all individuals associated with the site assume no responsibility for your trading and investment results. Sum this up, you and you alone are going to be responsible for the trading decisions you make, so make them smartly. Always consider risk and remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Some of the big news items we've got: number one, crude open 88.31. That is now on the June contract, opening below 90. That's kind of a big deal. They have traded back up above 90, but keep an eye on crude here. 88.31, Thursday's open in the June contract. Iran still going to be an issue. This week, well, we made it past tax day, so this is the 2 days after tax day. We'll see how those impact the market. I'm sure Tom's going to have a few statements about that a little bit later. Couple key levels here. The first quarter high was 70.43. The second quarter high has now been higher. And in fact, we've stayed above that 70.43 all morning long. So 70.43, first quarter high, a number to keep in mind. Couple of earnings coming after the bell today: Netflix and Alcoa. Alcoa, traditionally, they kick off the earnings season. We get a bit of financials before we get to Alcoa nowadays, but it starts in earnest. Now, Tom, your opinion.
I got a big opinion about a couple things. Let's talk about schedule. I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and I'm very protective of 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning. Let me give you an example. I had to go see the dermatologist. They insisted that I had to be there at 10 o'clock. I insisted I wouldn't be there at 10 o'clock, and eventually I got my appointment the way I wanted it in the afternoon. Do not let people interfere with your money making if you're serious about making money. Other things, people will call and say, "Hey, Tom, I'd like to talk to you." I said, "Let's talk after 4. I always protect the time because I know how important it is to miss things. I'd be so wealthy if I'd have learned that somebody had told me early on, about protecting your time. Doctors are the world's worst. Dentists are second, trying to get you to do things that's going to cost you money. Bankers are third. Do not protect those 2 hours, especially if you listen to me. I'm gonna post things that's going to allow you. Now I know if you work, that's a different story. But if you're here to make money, you need to understand that rule. I talk to people all the time. I'm up 3,000 and they missed a trade. I go, "How'd you miss?" "Oh, I had a doctor's appointment." You have to schedule those doctor's appointments outside that window, either before or after. Does everybody understand how serious it is to make money in the market? Because right now, this is your job, right? To make money in the market. I'm just trying to help you mistakes I made in the past. So, everybody got it. I talked to a client this morning. He said, "I'm doing some laundry." I said, "Laundry?" You see where I'm coming from? This is your focus if you want to make money. And I know you want to make money, so I'm trying to help you. Does everybody understand that? 9:30 to 11:30 is the heart of each day. Just don't tell me you missed something, because it could happen anytime. Now, this morning we had the following. Here's what we had. We had a profit taking place. How many times have you heard me say on Thursday, you usually get a counter reaction? That typically happens on a Thursday after a big run or a big sell-off. You get a counter reaction. Once we take out highs of some of these stocks, like AMD's making a high at 271.80, very bullish. MU reversed, it's at 459, very bullish. QQQ was down the first 45 minutes, down to QQQ is back in track, making highs. We got a good day in front of us. I think that Chuck mentioned crude oil as a sell. He's right. I agree with it. I want to be helpful to you if I can, because I have made every mistake you're going to make or going to make in the future. And I tell you, if you'll listen and learn from my mistakes, you'll save a fortune. Okay, you will save a fortune. So we got the market at 73. If it goes above 70.80, game on. Okay, 70.73 on the S&P. Did you see how the S&P held support? 70.45. Chuck, did you highlight that on TNT where I put support on the moneymaker at 70.45?
Yeah, we also talked about that first quarter high at 70.43. So everything's lining up in that area. The low at 70.46.50. So absolutely pay attention to TNT.
Yeah, and see inside TNT, I give you the projected support and the projected resistance on my moneymaker. That's why I post it every morning for those in TNT. All right, what do we got here? We got an Intel trade. Now, I own the stock in Intel, but here's 22% as a tip for doing it. 22% in at 95 out of $1.16. That's a winner.
Yeah, not bad at all. That Intel trade really, I mean, you've been talking up the stock for about a week or so now, so not a surprise.
At 60, I went long, went full boat long. Sold the 66 call. They would call it, they can have it tomorrow if it's above it. And I'll make 10% on all that money. That's not a bad conservative play.
No, not a bad return there. And let's see, what else have we got? Looking at the month of April, Tom, 9 total trades so far this month in TNT. We've got 8 winners, 1 loser, 89% accuracy in a market that is really changing and very dynamic. So that's an incredible accuracy rate there. We went from being a market that was kind of bearish and in the dumps to this full-on bull that has made a new high of the year. So getting that right 9 times, or 9 total trades, getting it right 8 times. I'm giving you extra credit because I know you're probably going to make a good one here today. So we're going to bump that accuracy rate up. Not to put too much pressure on you, but it's been a great month of April so far. Here's the thing, though, and this is what's kind of important. It's not just April, because when we go through and we look at what you've done from January through April, 115 closed trades, 90 winners, 24 losers, 1 break even, 78% accuracy rate. And as you can tell, it's only getting better right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot better because now we got a market that I can take a little risk with. With that VIX above 20, I had to be cautious. I had to go resort to a different strategy. And I need to ask a question. I've got a thing called the Perfect PC put call. Is anybody still in that XSP trade I did? I'm curious where it's priced today. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to see, because somehow I don't have it in my account. I thought I put it in, maybe I did, I don't know. I know we bailed yesterday, Neil, but I'm just wondering where it is today. It's still track it and see where it is, because remember you're supposed to hold it Friday. Where are you at on the XSP? I'm just curious what the total is. Are we close to 75 cents? with a day to go? I'm just curious. Jonathan, you might check it and let me know because I'd really like to know. I've been struggling with it because I typically make these trades and somehow I couldn't find it.
Tom, you're at 59 cents on the call and 14 cents on the put.
That's 73 cents, right?
If you net them out, that's 73 cents or so. Yep.
Yeah, Wendy, I know. Get me. I get me. I'm trying. Remember, I told us in the setup phase, I was trying to get 75 cents, but I think the 75's got to be a total price instead of 75 on one side, and I'll correct that tomorrow. Okay. I'm just trying to make it better for everybody. I've got something here that's going to be a big moneymaker for those that are in that program. And I'm just trying to, I know everybody made what, 30% of what they did yesterday. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm trying to learn how to squeeze it for as much as possible. Okay. You got to be you have to be in the class iPhone.
So in other words,
Yeah.
Tom, you're saying take the profits when they're there and learn from the way the market moves.
Yeah, it's a different strategy I use for that class, and I'm just trying to improve it for people that's part of it. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but I've sort of been at a handicap because I didn't have it I didn't really have it. Dave, you might ought to just focus single-handedly on that trade. I think you'd make money with that, not doing anything else. Because you seem to miss out on all the good ones, catch all the bad ones. I would do that. Build your account up using that.
What's that old saying?
78% accuracy rate. Thank you.
Yeah, there's that old saying, just want to bring this up. If you aren't moving forward, you're falling behind. Always try and learn, make things a little bit better. So I think that's the point of what you were talking about there. Now, reminder that all trades in Train and Trade are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade at dtitrader.com/TNT. A lot of the information that we were referring to this morning coming out of that TNT channel. Hope you guys are in there. Most of you are. But if you aren't, make sure you take the time to check this out at dtitrader.com/TNT. Tom's first book plus the trilogy, Roadmap to the Markets, Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep and Trade to Win, all available on Amazon.com. And if you'd like to get a sneak peek, Winning the Day Trading Game audiobook, available at dtitrader.com/WDTG. It's dtitrader.com/WDTG. You can click that link in the slide. And let's see, let's go to online public resources. Forex Factory, Econo Day, EarningsWhispers.com. Forex Factory and Econo Day, there's not really a lot of news right now. We got to wait until next week to get a little bit more news out of the market. We'll see how that impacts. I think we got retail sales coming up next week. But EarningsWhispers.com, I'm spending a lot of time on this site, keeping track of who's reporting before the bell, who's reporting after the bell. Netflix and Alcoa reporting after the bell today. The exchange sites, cmegroup.com, nyse.com, and eurex.com. And more resources. If you really like to learn a little bit more about the market, we've got some great resources here at dtitrader.com. The white papers at dtitrader.com/WP. Tom's YouTube page, which we've got an active discussion going in there. Wendy and Caddis saying good morning. So good morning to you guys and good morning to everybody else over on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. Important terms to know. The market's going to get kind of fun. Make sure you check out those terms to know document. It's a Google Doc. Everybody should be able to access it. Tom's penalty tape is available online. You can see the link posted in the resources page here. Just go ahead and click that. Options EDU and Tom's BNN interview. But let me come back to Options Education Resource for those of you who'd like to learn how to trade options, what they mean. When someone calls out a bull put spread or whatever it is, whatever we're looking at trading, or even the buzzfly, if you're interested in knowing what that is, make sure you go to dtitrader.com/optionsedu learn a little bit more about trading options in these markets. April FTD stocks. We're going to take a look in here, and I'll give Jonathan just a second to get that updated, but I'm going to go ahead and actually, yeah, the Sawgrass slide, I didn't see that in there. Was that? Let's go through. I think it.
I moved it down, Chuck. I moved it down.
Okay. I was like, I know I saw that in there earlier. All right, so let's take a look at the FTD stocks here and come through and look. The VIX, we got the red showing up there. That is a big part of why the market is making the move it's making. That VIX coming below 20 and below 24. Tom talked about those big highlight numbers, 24 the April open, and then 20 the number that we've been looking at for a while. And that was really the, okay, let's go, let's do this thing sign. Still down here, 1859, so keep an eye on that VIX. Looking pretty solid at the moment in terms of what we want to see in the market. Now, our major indicators, major markets, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow all showing up long. Believe we've got new yearly highs in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Not quite in the Dow, though. Dow's still got a little bit of work to do. Crude market, crude prices coming down. That's another partial of putting this rally together. Crude down.
Let me talk about crude for a second. Isn't it interesting that when our 3-day algo gave a sell on crude, that's been the general trend? I mean, that's so interesting to me. And, you know, you listen to all these people that don't trade on TV or wherever, and it's right there in front of you with the 3-day algo sheet saying, hey, crude's not going down. Now, what would that make oil stocks that people were long? Go look at those oil stocks, like, you know, the good ones, they're off from their highs quite a bit. Just saying, been a lot of signs here. You had the discount out to December, about $75 on the futures. I might have told you about the discussion I had with a guy that manages millions of dollars with Merrill Lynch. He was bragging to me at the gym on his crude plays. I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to buy some more. I said, really? I said, I'd be taking profit. I can't see him since, but he didn't listen, I'm sure. But he was sure touting his long crude stocks.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you get to that new month or even the new week, we're going to have the week start next week.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you begin a new time frame, you have to make that effort to reassess. The market is constantly changing. You have to be committed to be able to change with it. And the FTD sheet here that's doing this on a monthly time frame. And let's look down through some of these stocks that we've got, some of the stocks that we're looking at. We've got the ETFs in here. We've got the SPY. All versions of the S&P are moving higher. The Qs, Diamond, XLF is up. XLU is sort of in between. We've got.
Stop, Chuck. Let's take XLF. A lot of the bank stocks reported super earnings, didn't they? And then their stock went down. But XLF covers a lot of those stocks. If it's up long, then we ought to start looking in that sector. That's the way you start looking, not to go buy right now, but you wait till those particular stocks flash by. But I just want to give you a little insight there to how to use XLF.
All right, and let's see. Let's keep coming down this list. We get into some of the bigger stocks. Intel, of course, you look at that current price and then look at the FTD high. That's a $15 jump above the FTD high. So it just kind of reiterates that point. That first 3-day high is a pretty important number. And it's not the only one. Look right below it, CoreWeave. Nice big move. We got Apple starting a little bit of a move here. And just coming down through the list, tech is doing very well. Where's AMD? Here's AMD. Look at this AMD stock, 226 to 272. That's a big bonus.
Go check in
right there.
TNT when I told people to start looking at it about $50 ago.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And this morning you mentioned 260 on the Magic 5, so we're already up 12 from there. So we got definitely markets moving. And coming down the list, let's see, here's Goldman talking about some of those financial stocks. And yeah, still up a bit. We'll have to see how everything plays out. Citi right below it, also long. JP Morgan right above it. Let's see, NNE. I think this moves into a different sector with NNE. But you got Palantir, which is kind of consolidating a little bit, and keep coming down the list. The ones that jump out to me, Tom, I'm always looking for the abnormals, and I look down here at J&J, which reported earnings earlier this week. Keep in mind that 247. We're down here at 234, but don't forget about that 247. And then you got BTU. Not that familiar with BTU, but
Jonathan, will you add Oracle back in here? Oracle got my attention this morning in my work, and I said I need to get Jonathan to add that back into the spreadsheet.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah, so we get Oracle added, and well, you guys see how active the market has been. So the FTD spreadsheet, always a great little place to go and look and see what's going on. And if you're ever thinking how comfortable should I be with this stock, well, just check out this spreadsheet. You'll probably find out. All right, let's move back in here and let's keep going. So we've got the annual Sawgrass Workshop coming up May 31st. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. 997. Call 904-706-3532 or go to dtitrader.com/sawgrass to reserve your spot. And I got to tell you, Tom, I'm really looking forward to getting back down there. Are you a big fan of pizza, Tom? There's this great little pizza place right by the Hilton Garden Inn.
Doug, I hate to tell you, but after 11 years, Monday was their last day. They're moving on to another business.
Okay, well, I'm still looking forward to going down to Sawgrass because there's a lot more to do down there. And what's the highlight here? The highlight is really getting involved in trading, right? So we're going to take advantage of that, full advantage, and Adam will make sure that we get some good eats while we're down there as well.
All right, here's a little piece of trivia. How many years will this be that here in 2026? Anybody take a guess how many years I've been doing this? I found this morning, I don't know if y'all remember this. I know Chuck and Jonathan, when Jonathan wasn't there.
I think Adam's been around for most.
Yeah, Adam was there, but I had a lady that worked at DTI in Mobile, and she built, might have been Andrea, I forget who it was, but anyway, she built a little handout that we took a picture of everybody that had attended the 2016 Sawgrass, and this is the 10th year anniversary, and I'm going to have at Sawgrass a collector's edition for everybody. This will be our 10th year, and I think it's got bigger and better every year. I know with the Amanda crew, it's the best online version I've ever seen, but if I was you, I would try to come in person. You won't get better food. Chuck talked about it. The guy that prepares our food on Sunday night, oh man, that's worth the cost of it just to come for that meal, about 7 courses. And don't eat a lot before you come. If not, you're going to gain weight, okay? Anyway, just throwing that out there, all right?
Tom, I'm all set. I'm doing my official weigh-in for the year before I come down, so I'll have time to recover after.
There you go.
All right.
All right. So where are we at in the slides, Jonathan? Perfect. How to win and lose in trading. Notice I talk about losing. There's an art to losing money. I know it because I've probably got, you saw in that from the first of the year, I took a lot of small losses. But let's focus on techniques if we can to help avoid big losses, okay? Because whether you're trading stock or options, you got to concentrate on. Has anybody ever heard me say worry about risk first? Anybody ever heard that statement from me? There's a reason. Because what happens in trading, a lot of you did like I did in the early days, I'm sure, you got so excited and you overloaded your boat. And when you overload your boat, that's usually the time you're going to lose money, and that tears up your account. So you got to focus on techniques and trading tools to help avoid those big losses.
All right, so let's go in here. A couple points, Tom, on this. Point one, decide how much risk you will take and how to allocate your risk. Risk is always an extremely important part of trading that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, before I ever make a trade, this morning I actually went long NVIDIA. Before I made that trade on NVIDIA, I set my trigger price, I set my target price, and I knew before I ever put a dime on it, how much money I was going to put on it totally. I knew where I was wrong. I knew what I was going to do in case I was wrong. And I allocate that risk with what we call level bets. Level bets means if you got risk capital of 50,000 bucks, you take some percentage and it goes into each trade that way. In other words, treat all your children, your money, equally. I've been trading for 40 plus years, and I still never know which trades will work and which will not. It's something I had to learn to live with, okay? But I always start each trade as a probe. In other words, I put real money on my idea after it's set up, and I watch it. Somewhere between, I guess, 5 minutes and 30 minutes, I make a go or no go decision whether I'm going to go full boat. And when I do that, then things are really focused about being full boat. Now, taking a small piece of the real market and watching the position to determine if it's good or bad is a great lesson. In Mobile, we used to have a 2-minute clock when we were trading futures saying you can know after 2 minutes where you're right or wrong. And I proved it to people in the class. So have that time in there, that 30-minute window where you're going to go from probe to full boat. Does everybody understand that? So if I said, let's buy AMD, instantly you know at a $275 stock how much money you're going to put on the line. Instantly you know where you're wrong and you know where you're going to target it once you put the trade on. Intel's a perfect example. I bought it at 60. My target was 66. I thought it'd take me a month or so to get there based on it, the way Intel travels. I'm there in 7 days. Now, here's some insights to avoid big losses, okay? And especially when it comes to options. When buying options, I usually prefer to get in before the 12 o'clock Genesis bar. As a general rule, there's an exception. When I'm selling options, I prefer to enter after 12. Boy, I like selling options. Let's talk about techniques to avoid big losses. After 3 days in a long option position, if I'm losing money and my expiration is within 30 days, I get out. No questions asked. Everybody understand that? With more than 30 days, I might consider more advanced techniques that I can save for another lesson today. Those advanced techniques require a little bit more understanding than buying a call, buying a put. Generally speaking, when trading options, I try to consistently make anywhere from 20 to 30%. Let me stop you there. There's really 3 parts of a trade. There's the tick part of the trade. There's the trend part of the trade. and there is the trend of that trade. Sometimes I'll hold these things a lot longer because they're making me a lot of money. AMD is a classic example today. My target was 72. I got out of some, and now I'm holding. Tick trade trend. That's what it is. Now, limit distractions when trading options. Don't let your personal schedule interfere with you making money. I said, make a general rule from this day forward. 9:30 to 11:30 is money-making time in the market. I would say out of 100 days, it's 99 out of 100, okay? We're gonna know direction. We're gonna know what's hot, what's not. We're gonna know how to review our account, take action. Don't let other people interfere with that time. Like doctors, dentists, or appointments. You can make those appointments. You control your time. Don't be so nice. Oh, I'll take that 10 o'clock appointment, knowing full well if you take that 10 o'clock appointment, we have a day that you can go in there and kill it, you're going to miss it. That hurts you, folks. Don't make that mistake.
And you know what? Sometimes time gets away from us. We don't have control of everything around us. And when it becomes too much, you got to learn to step back.
I don't know what that had to do with what I was talking about.
Stay on the sidelines if you have too much going on.
Well, don't be on the sidelines during that key time, or it's going to cost you money. I'm just saying, make it a rule today. Don't let people interfere, and don't you do it to yourself. Always take time to review your trading results. This is very important. Chuck used to do this for me. I remember he came to me one day and said, you know, Tom, I noticed on Thursdays you have more reds than you have greens. I said, really? I didn't even know it. And then he said, hey, you know, between October and December, you're about 3 times as good. I said, I didn't know it, Chuck. All that, okay? That is so important to understand your own biorhythm of trading, we'll call it, okay? And that's what we're talking about here, right? Your biorhythm of trading. Like a dance, know how to dance. I'm loving talking about this stuff, can you tell? Let's talk about using tools of the roadmap to help manage all this stuff for you and avoid big losses. The first tool is the trade tracker. Yesterday or last night, I talked about 5 stocks that I was buying, and I said, look, I got them from the trade tracker. This is way before we had the 3-day spreadsheet. This was inside the roadmap, and I used it all the time. Very simple to use. You got the month open. When you're above the month open, I'm thinking long. When I'm above the 3-day high, I'm thinking long again. When I'm above the weekly start high, I'm really thinking long. This is how you do it, folks. This is a very important feature inside your roadmap. Everybody here, before you take another trade, ought to have a trade tracker open and check it out before you take the trade.
And Tom, you use the other side of those ranges as your initial risk point, isn't that right?
Yeah, initially, before I get into the details about the risk, that would tell me, hey, I just made a decision to go long because it's breaking it. If it goes out the other side of it, hey, I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, now this trade tracker is sort of the precursor to Jonathan's FTD spreadsheet. So if anyone out there is wanting to keep track of their own stocks, you can't update Jonathan's sheet, but you can update your trade tracker and roadmap. So
exactly. All right, the compass chart. What I love about the compass chart, especially the 30-minute, I can look at any ticker, and you'll see this at Sawgrass. Any ticker, y'all give me some tickers that we'll find to make money off of. I can look at any ticker, and you know what will happen? I will instantly be able to tell you whether I'm going to waste any time with it or not by looking at the roadmap compass chart. I'm looking for what I call the accuracy module. This is not a good picture of something I'd be interested in at the time he took it, okay? We'll go live in a little bit and check some things out. But the roadmap compass chart, I got it up here. I'm looking at the NASDAQ right now. I talked to Frank out of California. So, Frank, you long the NASDAQ still? Now, last night's presentation was on the roadmap was outstanding. As a longtime member, I said you were right. Joe quit losing. You ought to see his spreadsheet he's got. He showed it to me on his one-on-one. I wish I could be so good in discipline. He's an engineer, computer expert, band or drummer player. He's got it all. But Joe was here one-on-one. We made enough money to cover the cost of him being here. But the good news is, watching what he does, he's so deliberate, impressed me. My hat's off to Joe. He's listened very intently and became that trader he wanted to be when he joined DTI. Great job, Joe.
All right, so let's see. What do we got here, Tom? We're going to be talking about roadmap.
Yeah, I want to talk about what I'm doing. This is the first time in history, but let's go to a live market and I'll come back and talk about this.
All right. Let's see. Let's go into the roadmap here. Let me just take you over to chart.
John, the Thinkorswim platform is the best to get the data from. Oh, you got to call out. It's hard for me to see it, Chuck.
All right, I'm going to pull up the Intel chart here.
Oh, don't brag on me.
Well, I mean, you look at what Intel has done in the month of April, and that's simply something you have to take notice of. You see it busting out after the first 3 days. Big move, and it's continuing here today above RB3, currently creating the Genesis bar. And things are looking good on this. I'm looking at the Genesis. I'm looking at the RB4 open. The Genesis open today is above the RB3 open or RB4 open yesterday. And nice progression out of this market this morning.
All right, that is Intel. What else are you going to show? Showing the five. Go into the Magic 5. Let's see where, if you want to know early, you get 40 years of experience right here. Let's go through what I told people this morning. Go to my Magic 5. Let's look at those, Chuck.
All right.
I like to review it myself.
So we'll start with the home run here, which is AMD.
What did I say? What was it? What was the message I said in TNT?
Magic 5 AMD 260.55.
And I said, where would I get long AMD?
Above 260.55.
And it's at 275. Do you think that you ought to be in TNT after listening to me? I ain't making this stuff up, folks. I'm handing you the gold mine. All you got to do is mine it. Learn a few simple techniques. Way to go. That's a great one, Chuck. What's the next one I said?
All right, the next one, we're going to go and look at NVIDIA. And let's see, NVIDIA, you were looking at 255, and I don't think we quite.
No, we're not there yet. 199.17, not set up yet.
Yeah, but you can definitely see how that, even with the new open on the Genesis bar, that buy zone going into the 200 area. So the market's really got to show that penetration bar and break. So it's really set up well. I think resistance right now, 255. And then let's see, we'll look at Palantir, PLTR. And
what was my trigger number?
Trigger number 145.55. And
is it 143? No dice yet.
Right, no dice, and in fact, it only made it up to 144.79. So again, another.
I'm sorry. My number's that good. Yes.
Yeah, another good resistance number. Let's go into Apple, and let's see, what are we looking at here? So our number in Apple 267.55, and
Apple's at 262. Would I touch Apple today if I'm that far down from my trigger? Simple yes or no. Would I?
No. And the high of RB3, Tom, was 267.16. So if you're looking at this from the cash market open, that 267.55, great resistance number.
Yeah, let's just stop. Does everybody realize how valuable these five are with the actual numbers to trade off of? I don't think I've ever emphasized it enough to let you know it's good.
All right, and let's go and look at last one here is QQQ out of the Magic 5. This is the 5th one. And our number there is 640, 640, 55. And they just now on this Genesis bar have moved above 641, 64, 640, 55 right now. So tickling the ivories over here, Tom. This one's wanting to get your attention.
Yep. Looking good. We got a question from Rob. He says you have a 285, 290 May call spread. What date in May, Rob? It's on Apple. What date? 15 May. All right, so let's go look at Apple again.
All right.
And I'm going to ask Chuck one question to answer your question. Where did Apple open the week at?
Apple opened the week at 259.73.
Rob, it's still above that. I wouldn't exit. Great question.
And for those of you who don't realize it, no, I didn't memorize that number. I'm just reading it off of the panel of information. Tom and I get accused a lot of having amazing memories where we memorize everything. We don't. We just have a software that tells it all to us.
And it is a great software, like no other I've ever seen, or not like anything you'll ever see in the future. This is 40 years of education, training, experience putting it together. We've been working on it ongoing for the last 25 plus years. I can't trade without it. Look, come on, let's be realistic. You know anybody with this kind of track record? It ain't Tom Busby. It's the Roadmap software. Learning how to use it. Drive the machine that makes people money. I do know how to, I'm an operator, first class.
And not just the trading, Tom, also the research.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even get into that portion. We built that. That was actually, Chuck came to me one time. He said, hey, you building all this stuff I do for you? I said, yeah, Chuck, I'm trying to replace you. And I'm doing it through this research key and all this stuff. He says, replace me? I said, yeah. I said, I'd like to have it because I work odd hours, you know, like sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning I might be working. I want to know where these numbers are. And so anyway, we got a lot of great features inside the Roadmap. A little history there, right?
Yeah, I recall that conversation going a little bit differently. It was more like, Tom, can I please sleep at night? So we figured out a way to make that happen.
Yeah, we got both. Everybody got what they wanted. You know, Chuck used to set up all night and watch these numbers for me back during the Globex days. And he was in college at the time. And, you know, he'd have these numbers I'd walk in the morning and having to trade with. That's why he's so good with numbers. He went through, I guess, the real life school of watching this stuff. And he's also very close to mathematical genius. Okay. But he's an English major. I think that's a counter trend the way his father wanted him to be. I always think about that, Chuck, how you measured in English.
Yeah, well, listen, Tom, the numbers are the language of the market.
There you go.
Jahan asked why the last candle is white. We have our reference bars distinguished in color from our normal bars. You'll see the red and green bars, and then you'll see blue bars and white bars. Blue bars and white bars are different levels of reference bars. So the white ones, they're going to pop out. You're going to see them. The blue ones pop out a little bit less, but those are a little bit more key time based. So you're always going to be looking for them there. We wanted those white bars to pop off the chart so you could see it and pay attention to it. You can actually change the colors if you like, but
don't do it.
Yeah, then if Tom ever sees your roadmap, you'll hear it. Trust me, my roadmap at home that I typically use at night looks a little bit different. But if I'm coming in here to project with Tom, we have the traditional colors up, the Tom's colors, if you will.
Well, not only that, if you start messing the colors, there's so many different color changes you can do. Once you start changing them, you can't find your way back. You'll end up screwing your roadmap up and having to reinstall. Nobody wants to do that.
I don't know. I think
know,
the road,
Chuck. You just gonna have to suck this one up. You're outnumbered. Me and John have been outnumbered, though. Okay. Now we're just trying to keep it tight. And one of the little things that we added this year, which has been a big help, we numbered the reference bars. And if you look there, I'd ask Chuck, put D-mini in there real quick, if you will.
all right.
And you say, why do you always go back to D-mini? Because 75% of stocks follow D-mini. But go tell me what the range on RB3 is. That's the beautiful thing about having a number.
Range on RB3, we had a high of 70.74, low of 70.46.50. And here's the math part. That is oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to do the math quick. That's a 27.5 point range.
Yeah. So and what Chuck's getting to, typically if you have a 27-point range on RB3, you can add 27 points to the top of it and give you a projected top. And so what was the high, Chuck?
The high was 70.74, so 27 points onto that would get you to it'd be about 71.02.
Yeah, and if you go look at my moneymaker inside TNT, I had 7,100 at 5 this morning. So there's other techniques to get that number. That's the way you can verify if you're looking for things. You can do that for stocks too. Let's take AMD real quick. Take AMD. Put AMD in there and tell me the range.
All right.
This is just a simple technique off the roadmap. What was the high and low of AMD?
For RB3, the high was 270.12, the low 261.51.
9 points. So 9 points would put resistance on AMD today about 280. That's just a ballpark figure. So if you got in and sold some off or whatever, then you say, hey, I'm going to see the second half of the day, especially if Genesis was green. You got the 30-minute there. What's Genesis doing on? Well, we got another 20 minutes on it.
Yeah, Genesis, the outline there is kind of skewing that color. So they're a little bit more white.
The bottom line is if we go higher than Genesis on AMD, then your target will become officially that 280 for the day this afternoon because it's a continuation going higher. That's the way you use that. Does that help everybody? Is this helpful, what I'm saying? By using what you got in front of you to measure where you think things might go. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go back. I'm going to tell you a little history here. For 15 years, after building the roadmap, we sold it for $3,000. About 5 years ago, we cut the price down to $500 because we had pretty much had our framework and we thought we'd bring more people in at $500. And that was for a year. Then it got very expensive to maintain and do everything. So we took it back up to $1,000. And that's what the current price resides now. I think we're going to have another price increase on it, but I don't know when that's going to happen. But I've always been curious about how many people would buy this sucker if I made it a monthly charge of $99. And so last night we made a little history. We opened it up to 30 people to get the roadmap, get all the stuff that goes with the roadmap. And I said, we'll start the subscription on May 1st. So actually get about what, 12 days right there. I don't know how many slots are left on this, okay? But I think that this is so valuable for you to take it for a dance. And so there it is. And if you got any questions about it, you can call 904-706-3532. Adam's keeping up with how many we're going to take at this price. This is a trial version for us, not a trial for you, but a trial for us to see, does it in fact get people involved? And you tell me your story. Now, we decided to have a live presentation this Friday at 10:30. And this is what we try to do to to make sure you get off to a fast start, okay? Now, if you've ever been with me during a live presentation like you are right now, you will find that I can't stay over 30 or 45 minutes without seeing a trade I'm doing. I usually share it, okay? And so that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. If I'm live Friday, there's a chance we'll make some money and get you a scholarship. I'm not saying we will, just saying there's a chance. So that's the roadmap. Are we going to play what I did last night, like let everybody hear the full version of what I did? It's not about 20 minutes long, I think, but I think.
Yeah, T-Buzz, I'm going to replay it.
Yeah, I think you ought to listen to it. I don't know if we have any slots left, they'll tell you if you try to buy it and they say no, we're filled up, but take advantage of doing it and get it and work with me for the next 30 days to really see just how.
And Tom, before we go off the page, just want to remind everybody, this show, like everyone, you'll be able to go in and review it, dtitrader.com/YouTube, found via the live tab. So if you want to go back and review this session, please feel free to do so. So Adam, we ready to hit that replay?
Yep, good to go.
All right, Tom, thanks for coming in this morning. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, I'm already happy. Thank you.
All right, and thank you everybody for coming.
Remember, nobody takes your time from 9:30 to 11:30. Matter of fact, you got to get a written excuse from me from now on. If you're going to listen to me, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm tough about that 9:30 to 11:30 time. I want you to make money, folks. We do a lot of work to make you money. I hate to see a lot of people miss it because no one ever told you about, hey, that's your time to make money. Thank you. An option using my Delta series, either Delta 10 up to Delta 50. That's how you take advantage of it. How do you know it's happening? You set an alert on your platform. We taught that. We did everything but grab your mouse and say get long. Did that too, but that was just a heck of a week. Look at that. Today's only Wednesday. Hey, Harold. I want to talk to you, Harold. I hope I got your right number. I sent you a text. Harold, while you're in here, do me a favor. Put your number there. Nobody else said, I want to call and talk to you. Harold, I'll tell you a story of Harold. I met Harold at Orlando, Florida years ago. I was trading the Dow Live at the time. Harold joined my biggest program at the time, 10 grand. And everybody was all excited when I showed them how to do this with the Dow. I'll never forget it. I do have the right number? Okay. You see my text? I wanted to talk to you. Let's talk. I'll send you a text. We'll set up time tomorrow. You free tomorrow? Perfect. I'll never forget it, Harold. All of a sudden, I'm in this crowd. People surround me. I can't even talk. Over the top, about 4 layers of people. True story, right, Harold? He threw his American Express Platinum card. I was like catching a pass as it came over the top. I'll never forget that. Many years ago. No brainer when I was trading live. He said, there's about 14,000 people down at Orlando when I met Harold. And he chose us a lot of years ago. I think that was the first time that I'd ever traded live in front of people. We built that building in Mobile, Alabama. The classroom was a textbook theater style seating. It's pretty exciting. Now, almost everything we do here at DTI revolves around one question. I posed this question many years ago. I said, If you can figure out whether to be long, whether to be short, or whether to stay out of the market, keep that question front and center in everything you do, you can make money in the market. The reason I focus on the S&P for guidance on that direction is because 75% of all stocks approximately follow the S&P. So if I got the S&P going up, what's going to happen? 75% of those stocks are going to go up. You see where I connected the dots between those two? And that's why Sunday night, I said our target this week would be 70-45. That would be our first big target. And tonight, I'll give you other new targets from Wednesday night. Been doing it this way for years. Don't miss a Sunday or Wednesday night. Adam, we don't charge for this anymore. Don't we let people come for free now? We used to charge for this. We let people come for free. What a value. Building, classroom, a lot of good time. Knowing how to frame the market, long, short, or out. It gives you an action plan every day, framing things. It takes fear out of it. It creates optimism because you know if you follow what we teach, the odds are going to favor you at the end of the day. And it allows you, most importantly, to decide how much money you're worth by the amount of money that you risk and how you play the game. That's writing your own ticket. Now, if we could stop right now and I could sit down with you face to face and be able to show you how to write your own ticket, how much money would that be worth? Type in here, if I could teach you how to write your own ticket on the money you want to make in the market, how much would that be worth to you? Think big, folks. Having the right foundation. Fish for life. You heard that say. Long, short, out. Roadmap software makes it simple. Now, if you go back and look at a rough 3 months, January through April, actually 4 months, I made over 114 public trades. 89 were winners, 24 were losers, and broke even on one for a 78% action. Putting up $1,000 on each option trade that I did, you would be sitting here tonight smiling like most of the people that did that. A lot of money. But how did I do it? I do it because what the roadmap does for me, it keeps me disciplined and following a process. It starts tonight, it goes through tonight, into tomorrow, and I do it through a process we call reference bar trading. Now, what do people think? When they see it work live, they see it work in any day, any week, any month. What do people think when they see success like that? Tell me what you think when you see it being demonstrated, not out of the history books, not what we did this week, now, that's all great, but what we're going to do tomorrow and the next day. People think, I've got to learn how to do that. And the way you learn how is have this tool called the Roadmap software. It's the reason Joe here paid me $10,000 to come sit with me for 2 days. He saw the ability to lower his losses, make consistent wins, and it organizes all the data. He's a smart guy, but it organized the data for him to be able to make good decisions. That's why people like the face-to-face. They get to see it in reality. Now, Roger's a doctor out in Texas. I talked to Roger this morning before he went to cut on people, I say. Okay? And I told Roger this morning about 7 o'clock, I said, Roger, you can make a lot of money with NVIDIA today by looking at the roadmap when you get a break. I hope he's here tonight to share his story. I know he did. And he gets his game plan, keeps on the right side of the market, even though he's distracted throughout the day doing what he does all day long. How many people's met Roger? He came on board about 3 years ago. He's been to Sawgrass, he's been one-on-ones, he's been to classes. He's got an open ticket to come to Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. How about old Bill? Bill's famous for the DTI salute. As long as a roadmap subscriber like Bill. I remember when on Bill's face when I first met him, he said, how much is that roadmap? I said, 3,000, Bill. Didn't hesitate. Back then it was more than that because he had to buy his own data feed to make it work. He bought it. He took a chance. He was skeptical, but guess what? It shaped his trading for the last 10 years. He runs it through the roadmap on anything he wants to buy or sell because the roadmap's that important. Bill doesn't trade a lot of short term anymore, but swing trading and long term he uses. Pretty good stuff. Roadmap simplifies the DTI method that I put together all these years. It's been a life's journey doing it. The simple, long, short, or out parameter. That is where the tools in the roadmap come into play. DTR page, this is one of our first features on the roadmap. Notice there at 1:30, we were at 70.47. That was my target for the week. But then I upped my target after 1:30. I said, hey, the next target from 45 would be 62. Well, we hit 62. My next target after 62 will be 70.85. You ought to write that number down. I just gave it to you. But having the ETR page is called the tape. I'm a tape reader from the word go, and that's how I do it, using this to keep up with what's happening. People used to say, Tom, how can you be so successful with your back to the market when you're talking to us? ETR page. I'll glance up there and see it when I'm talking. You'll see me do this during Sawgrass. You'll see me do it in classes. It keeps me informed what's moving and how it's moving. ETR page. One of the very first features of the roadmap. I still got a page of it over here on my real estate. The trade track. How many people like the 3-day algo that we do every day in Train and Trade? Give me a yes if you like the 3-day algo. The origin of the 3-day algo came from my work on finding patterns at work. I had our programmer build it into the roadmap where I could have it anytime, day or night, to check out whether I ought to be long, short, okay? And there it is. NVIDIA was one of my picks. Google was one of my picks. Intel was one of my picks. AMD was one of my picks. The QQQ was one of my picks, all from the trade tracker. That's the verification mode of what I'm going to do after I follow any certain ticker. The compass, nothing like it. Who likes charts? You haven't had a chart until you have the compass staring you in the face, showing you the time. Not just a line on a chart, but the time of entry, adjusted for the reference bars, by colors, and then showing you where to enter and where to exit. in a picture form. That's the Compass chart. It was named by Celeste Lindman years ago. And I love the name. You got to have a compass. Now, I wouldn't trade without a roadmap, and you shouldn't either. This is the secret of what we do. Now, I decided tonight to make a major decision when it comes to the roadmap. I'm doing it on a trial-only basis, meaning I don't know if this is going to be the permanent way I do it, but I'm going to see, because I want to make your job easier. Not going to charge you the $3,000 I charged Bill many years ago, but you're going to have an opportunity. When you understand how to use it, you can find virtually every opportunity that I find using the roadmap software. We do training on it. We teach you how to do it. We just don't throw you out there. A lot of people say, I wish I could see the market the way you can. You can see the market the way I see it when you have the roadmap software. I bring up the word market timing. They tell you can't do it. How many people believe you can time the market after watching me do it for all these years? Give me a yes if you think you can market time. Sure did time. If you just been with me last 30 or 40 days, staying out of trouble and getting in when it was hot. Pretty good stuff, huh? Got a great team around it. The roadmap software is how we see it. The first thing you'll learn with the roadmap is 4 simple patterns. 4. Now, I know you can count to 7 if you can remember somebody's phone number. There's 7 digits in that. So I only ask you, how many people, if I could teach you 4 simple patterns, not 100 different patterns, but 4 patterns putting you on the right side of the profit wheel. Well, stay with me, because this Friday, I'm going to go through it and give you the insights of those 4 patterns this Friday. That's happening. The buy signal. That's what I'm looking for at key times during the night, during the morning, during the day, during the week, and during the month. You see how that bar went into that yellow zone at the top, then confirmed by the bar after that? It can do any time frame, but y'all see that? Pretty simple, isn't it? You got your reference bar and you got your breakup bar. Very simple, what you look for at the right distance away from where you started, which is the opening price. A little different than everybody else. Now, when it goes in there and fails, it also tells me a lot about the market. That's when it goes to the opposite side. We had a lot of that the last 30 days. But look at it. You make money. You make actually more money on a buy failure because it's a longer run to the downside. That's 2 patterns. The third pattern is the sell signal. Sell signal is opposite of the buy signal. Right down to the target. Now this works in a bull market. You'll see this one a lot. Sell failure, where it tries to go lower. You'll see a lot of this in an up bull market. You see this a lot. You got to learn this pattern in a bull market. When it fails, it's time to jump on. And it's easy to see once you know the parameters. The parameters tell you where to get in and where you're wrong. The complete program is built around the roadmap so we can hold your hand throughout the day, throughout the week, and throughout the month. Called the Roadmap Trader Package. We put this together and it gives you a step-by-step guide on features you care about, where you want to trade. Dividends, all that stuff is included. We have a prediction model in here. We got everything inside the roadmap. Folks, been developing this thing for the greater part of 25 years. But I'm giving you some simple reasons to take the time to learn what I showed you tonight with those features. The complete software you get the whole package. We just don't limit it and charge you by module and all that. That would suggest us a notice given the whole thing. I want you to have it all. Every kind of market, up, down, or out, you're ready to take advantage of. Don't trade without it. The Roadmap Trader course gives you a money management course we came up with and ways to do it. The first module I love the most is the 67% module, because if you can eliminate what not to do, that increases your odds of making money. For example, if the market's going up and you eliminate being short, maybe you stay out, maybe you get long, you eliminate how you lose money. I teach you that. That's the first thing I teach you. Make a career doing that. How to manage that trade. Different time, different week. You know, stop management has always been a problem for traders. The roadmap does it for you. And that's the beautiful thing about managing a trade, managing your account, and doing everything. How to get started quickly. We got that put together. Some guy asked us years ago, said, can you do it? Yep, do it. Now, the complete set of this is worth more than $3,000. If you want to become a profitable, who wants to become a profitable trader? Here's the test tonight. That's why I say this should be the most expensive product I have, but I don't do it that way. I do it differently. I want you to have it. Now, let's get involved. Time to take action. Our roadmap support team encompasses me and several other people to make it all work. That's my old office, my old trade room in Mobile, Alabama, sitting right there with John. I was teaching him how to use the roadmap. That's what you get: the software, the trader course, the pattern module, the management course, rapid results, all access, and our no nonsense guarantee. Love it. We're not going to do that anymore, are we, Wendy? When I found Wendy, she was broken. Now she's happy and got something to smile about every day, even when she's got the flu. I think it's worth 7 figures to me. I can't trade without it. I don't know how you can. How we make our living. Now, here's what we're going to do. This is going to make a little history at the roadmap. I want Harold, I want Bill, I want Morris, I want everybody to think years ago where we started and what I'm going to make history tonight with. If you subscribe to the roadmap tonight during this trial process, I'm calling it a trial because I've got to have more people take the roadmap on a monthly basis from now on at $99 a month. You don't have to put up the $3,000. You don't have to put up the $1,500. You don't have to put up the $1,000. You can have the roadmap tonight with all that for 99 bucks. And I've included a scholarship plan in there with you. Scholarship means I'm going to show you how to get it. 1 month access every month, as long as you want to stay on it and quit anytime. Think about how much better you're going to be. You won't quit. My commitment to you, I've been in this game a long time. You know, I made, lost, and made fortunes again. We're in this together, and I want you to have the roadmap. This is your chance. I'm limited only to 30 people, though. 30 people, because I'm really not sure I'm going to stay with this plan. I will honor it, those that join tonight. So don't procrastinate. Everyone here will be onboarded, and I'll go through this through the next month, and then I'll make a decision. Now, $100 will get you started. Here's the best part. It's April 15th. I'm going to give you the 15 days bonus here to be one of those 30 and to have it for a full month where you really get to learn it and use it and tell me how great it was. And I'll ask the question at the end of the journey. Are you glad I did it? And when I ask that question, I'll make a decision whether to do that price anymore. So this Friday, we'll have a bonus session. If I get everything accomplished, that's all I'll do. If I don't, I'll do one the following Friday. My goal is you don't have to pay for it if you stay with me and take me up on this offer. I want it to be so good that you're telling your friends, because they won't be able to get in like you did if I don't do it. We'll go back to our regular price. Your subscription will not start counting down till we get to May 1st. This is your chance. 1 month access starts May 1st, but you start, download it tonight, you start going through this stuff. Friday, we'll go through the accuracy module together to make sure you get real benefit right out of the chute. Answer questions. That's at 10:30 this Friday. Folks, I told you we'd make history tonight. This is history. For years, people said, you ought to do it this way. I said, I'm not going to do that. It's too valuable. You know the cost of running this thing? Well, the bottom line is tonight, we're going to try it. It's a trial, meaning if you take it tonight, I'll honor it as long as you want to keep it. But you'll know at the end of May if it's beyond that. So show me I was open-minded and join tonight. Now, who's going to join and get the roadmap? I want to count it down. I want this to be gone where you got 30 and we're ready to start Friday. JP says, I'm in. All right. Anybody else? I got one, JP. I got two, JS. Mike. Way to go. Be the best decision you ever make, Judy. Just ask people that make money with it. This is not hard to use. And what I'm going to show you Friday, that lesson alone is worth $100. How many people think we'll probably do a trade on Friday when we do this? Just saying, how many people know me and think I'll probably find a trade on Friday? You're right, I will. I can't be there for an hour without finding an opportunity. Jeff says multiples. I love it. All right, folks. Any questions? It's pretty simple. It's cut right. Either you want to win, you want to have consistent wins, and you want to have smaller losses. This is the way to do it. There's a great question. Why do we have a lot of programs? I'll tell you, because the market changes. I've been doing this 40 years. I've got to have strategies for people to make money no matter what the market does. I don't control what the market does, but I do control how to play it by teaching you strategies to make money. Stay focused and get on. Lynn, for $100, you can use the night version. You can be set up the next day. Absolutely. Now, let's put a timer up here.